Hey guys, welcome to the 2 a.m. pipe on the patio. Cool morning here. Today I'm smoking my Kaywoodie Saxon with some C&D Crooner in it. Anyway, I went up yesterday, or the day before yesterday, to Blacksburg up on the campus of Virginia Tech, and did some trading with John up at John's Cameras. And I came home with my dream camera, the Nikon F2. Beautiful camera. Also came home with a winder for it. And got the micro lens for it, which focuses down to 9.5 inches, which will be awesome for taking pictures of close-up pictures of flowers and stuff like that. So that was a bonus. I got him to throw in that lens. But the winder, it's pretty cool to have that. It's heavy, you know, it takes 10 AA batteries to use that winder, which adds a ton of weight. So that's not something I'll use all the time, but it's good to have. He was fun, man. He was a fun guy to talk to, fun guy to deal with. At first he was like, well, I'll give you this much money towards the camera and the winder. And then we kept talking and kept talking and kept talking, and then he goes, well, all right, I'll let you have the camera and the winder. And I said, well, can you throw in a lens? And he says, well, let me see what I got. He had this lens sitting on the right by where we were making the deal. He went over and he looked at his lenses and he goes, well, how about that micro lens? You want that one? And I said, yeah, I'd love that micro lens. And he goes, okay, I'll throw that micro lens in. So we wound up doing a cool deal, no money involved. It was just a straight across deal. Spent about 2 hours in there talking to him. He was showing me around his shop, showing me all his camera gears that he had, some new stuff that had come in, and he's got some stuff in there that, man, I wish I could afford. But he had several other F2s in there. This is the F2A. It's got the Model A photomic. Viewfinder on it and prism, and which will use the AI and AIS lenses on it, and which is awesome. And so I'm stoked, man. I am so stoked. That was the second Pro model that Nikon came out with, the F2. First Pro model was the Nikon F, which came out in 1959. This one came out in, I think, 1980 or 79. And then the F3 came out, and the F4, the F5, and the F6. Those were all their Pro film models. The F6 was the final Pro film model that they made. I can't get them. I have to use this. I used to have an F2 years ago, and sold that, traded it actually, to get McKinley a digital camera, and I've regretted it ever since. So but it's nice to have the winder. The winders was definitely a bonus. I wasn't looking to have that, so when he threw that in, that was a bonus. Not something I'll use all the time. It's so heavy, and but you can use it for just single frame or continuous frames. But pretty cool camera item to have is the winder. Just shoot a whole roll of film in seconds. But it's great to have if you're shooting action stuff, or which I seldom do, but it's still a cool thing to have. And it's nice to have that grip, you know, when you're holding your camera, to have that grip on there. But man, I'm so stoked. I am just so stoked to have that camera. That's the dream. I'd like to get a Nikon F at some point too, because that's my birth year camera. And an F3 at some point, but that's down the road. So beautiful day, cool, very cool. I'm wearing a jacket, got my overalls and my flannel on, and it's chilly out, but beautiful. It's just a gorgeous day. Slightly overcast, but beautiful out. It's a beautiful day for Crooner. The dogs are out here, they're enjoying it. As you can see in the background there. Oh, girl. Oh, you're loving it out here, aren't you? Yeah, you're loving it out here. So, I'm looking to go out tomorrow and do some shooting with the new camera and a couple of the old ones. You just want your ears rubbed, don't you? Huh, yeah. But had a nice chat this morning with my old drummer, George Sluppick, who lives down in North Carolina in Greensboro. And we hadn't talked in years and years and years, and I sent him a text message, and he called me, and we talked for a good long time. It was so good to get in touch with him, and he's doing great. He's playing with a bunch of people. We're going to be doing a record the next couple weeks. Going to be recording it out here at Smith Mountain Lake, the studio here in Smith Mountain Lake here in Virginia. So we may be getting together and hanging out, depending on his availability. George is an amazing drummer. Played with Albert King. Played with Chris Robinson Brotherhood, the Cat Mary, Mofro. Played with me for a while. He's been around for years. Originally from Memphis, just an amazing drummer. Look him up. He's all over the internet. George Sluppick. Good guy. One of the great guys in all of music. He's one of the good guys. One of the really, really good guys. I don't think I have any pictures with him. That's the sad thing. I don't think I have any pictures with him, of him. I'll have to go through my boxes, see if I've got any pictures and scan them. I know I don't have any on my phone. I'll have to go through my boxes. George was just one of the sweetest, is one of the sweetest human beings you'd ever want to meet, man. Just incredible drummer. Played with Galactica and Stanton Moore. He's been around for years. Played with Sha-Na Na. Bastard Sons of Johnny Cash. He's been around, played with everybody. Billy Bacon. There's a cool story when he was playing with Bastard Sons of Johnny Cash. They got a letter from the lawyers, cease and desist letter from Johnny Cash's lawyers telling them, you know, they couldn't use the name anymore. So they wrote a letter to Johnny Cash and sent him a CD of the music they were playing and everything. And Johnny Cash sent him a letter back saying he gave them permission to use the name. He loved their music and gave them permission that they could continue to use the name, which was really cool. That was just a cool story. But he loved their music and told them they could continue to use the name, and so that was just really cool. But, you know, they told Johnny, you know, they told Johnny Cash, we love your music, we love you. You know, we're not trying to rip you off or anything like that. We just, you know, our music is just continuation of the music you played, and we're just, you know, continuing on your tradition of. And he sent him a CD. He listened to it and told him, you absolutely can continue to use the name Bastard Sons of Johnny Cash. I love your music. You have my blessings. And the lawyers sent them another letter saying you have Johnny's permission to continue to use the name. And so how cool was that? That was very cool of Johnny Cash. George is George was playing for me back in the mid-90s and Sweet Blue Onion was the name of the band I had, and yeah. Just a great drummer. God, he was just probably the best drummer I've ever played with. He could play anything. He could play any style of music. He could play everything. Now he's playing with Charlie Hunter, the guitarist Charlie Hunter. They've got records available on iTunes. Look up Charlie Hunter, George Sluppick. They've got records out on iTunes. Great stuff. But I love George. God, I love that. He's like a brother, just like my little brother, man. I just love that guy. And my family just adores him. All of my family, my kids. Sadie loves him. My wife loves him. He's just, he's family. I remember the first time I heard him play was in San Diego. He was playing with a band called Hot Monkey Love, which had my friend Gonzo and Ron Seda, Mike McMahon, and George Sluppick playing in it. And I heard him playing and I was like, man, who is this drummer? And he was just seemed like such a young kid then, you know, but he's like 8 years younger than me, but he seemed like such a young kid at the time, which back then he probably was. But he'd been playing with Albert King and so I was, when I got to play with him, I got to go up and sit in with him a couple times, and I was very nervous and intimidated because he had played with Albert King, you know. And man, he just made me feel like I belonged, I was worthy, and he always just encouraged me so much, and which meant a lot coming from him because he had played with my hero Albert King, you know. And then I actually got to have him in my band, and that was just massive for me. And but he was on to bigger and better things than me, and but we've always kept in touch, and he's always been very gracious man, and humble, just as humble as you could possibly be. No matter what he's been doing, when he was playing with, you know, Chris Robinson and all those guys from the Black Crowes, he was always so humble, and never got a big head or anything like that. He just was always just the same old George. And hopefully we'll get to meet up with him the next few weeks here when he's doing his album. We can find some time to, he's only 2 hours away from me, so he's only living 2 hours away from me, so we're gonna definitely get together. And he was offering to get me some gigs and stuff, so put my name out there in North Carolina. So I gotta start practicing. I love that man. Anyway, so that's what's been going on here. I will catch y'all later. Y'all have a good day. I love y'all. God bless you. Stay healthy, stay happy, and I'll catch you on the next one. God bless.